Right, let's do a quick riding impressions on the Benelli Leoncino. We'll take the long way home. So, unfortunately, I've had this bike for a couple of weeks now. I'm sure I haven't left anything but time like the last time I was here. Yeah, had it for a couple of weeks, but we had Cyclone Gabriel come through right after I had it delivered. And apart from riding it on my birthday, oh, just realised my helmet's not done up. Yeah, apart from riding it on my birthday, I haven't really had much of a chance to ride this bike. There we go, that's a bit safer. So, we'll go for a bit of a hoon now. Love the sound of this engine. I believe it's, I think, a 755cc or thereabouts twin with the good old 270 degree crank like a MT-07 engine, so it sounds good. It sounds really good on that factory pipe. It's a shame that microphone on that camera down there doesn't work. So we'll go this way. Just go for a quick point. So yeah, I've, like I said, had this for a week or a couple of weeks. Not really ridden it. So we'll do some, yeah, first impressions kinda. So one big thing is riding position. It's nice and kinda neutral. Seat is a little bit on the firm side, though I rode it for most of a Saturday and did not come off worse for wear. So firm, not uncomfortable. I love the switchgear. It's sort of a rarity these days to get switchgear that actually feels good and is easy. You don't even have to look at it on this bike to know where something is. You can feel it instinctively. Everything is where it should be. I got one button that doesn't do anything, but I got a feeling that's from the trail model, and that might be the ABS off button on that bike. This is standard Leoncino. It's got 17-inch wheels, cast alloys, they're not spoked, but same engine, and yeah, it's a crackingly fun bike. TFT display, pretty basic. It doesn't offer connectivity or anything like that, but it is nice and clear and shows you the basics. I would love to pick the brains of whoever designed it though and ask them why they mirrored the tachometer on the top and the bottom, because it's just a bit curious. It's a bit, yeah, I don't know. It makes it really easy to sort of see what your revs are doing, but you can also hear them because the engine sounds so good. Yeah, what else? LED lighting all the way around. The indicators are quite chunky compared to other ones you'd see on the market. Again, I think that's a styling choice by Benelli. It's a very stylish bike. I love the trellis frame. You can sit and lock your knees in to the tank just right, and you can have a great sort of riding position. There are a couple of things that I think could be a bit better, namely the brakes. Now, I'm not saying they don't work, they work pretty well, but they just feel a little bit on the wooden side. They lack a bit of feel compared to some of the other bikes I've ridden, particularly ones that have also been made in China. Some others have had exceptional brake feel, and this is alright. Got adjustable preload on the rear shock, no adjustment on the front forks or anything there. I wound back the preload just a smidge on the rear and just made it a little bit more comfortable for cruising around back roads on. I normally don't bother with that sort of thing, but yeah, needs must. Yeah, between the firm seat and the stiff rear shock as I received it, it's nice to be able to wind it back a bit. 6-speed gearbox, nice and pretty straightforward that. So, does wheelies good? Well, it wheelies better than I can wheelie. I can't wheelie for shit. And it's got plenty of power. I wouldn't say it's a monster of a engine. It's quite linear until you get to about, I think it's 7,500 RPM, and then it gets a nice second wind, which I can't really show you here because I'm stuck on the outskirts of Cambridge. I'm sort of sneaking out while the kids are going to bed. But it's there. Let's see if I can slow down a bit. I can give you a bit of a taste of that without getting too good a job. And then, I love the sound of this bike. I keep going back to it. It sounds phenomenal on that stock pipe. And it's not an ugly pipe either. Switchgear, one little weird thing about the switches is you don't really have any dedicated buttons on your regular sort of switchgear. You've got these buttons underneath the mirror clamps which control the TFT, but you can't use them if you're riding. They'll only work if you are stationary, and I think even if you're in neutral, or if the bike's turned off. Yeah, now I'm thinking, another thing that I haven't quite been able to get to how I like it too is the reach to the lever. You do have adjustable levers, but I've got the clutch perfect. Haven't quite managed to find a spot where the brake lever is to my liking. It's about as good as I'm going to get it, I think, but yeah, would like a little bit more noticeable difference when you change the adjustment there. So, I have ridden this on gravel, surprisingly. That was part of my big Saturday out on it. Surprisingly, it was really, really good. I'm not too sure if it's because of the tyres or the geometry, because they built it alongside the trail version, but this bike was beautiful on the gravel roads. You had to watch the front a little bit, and the tyres aren't the most amazingly grippy tyres. They look a bit flat trackish, but they do like to spin a lot. But man, I couldn't get over how controllable and just easy to ride this was on the loose stuff. Double check your camera's still there. Just watched Dork in the road nearly lose his 360 cam that he didn't have in his eye line, so yeah, a bit paranoid. What else can I say about this bike? Pricing, it is $13,500 for the base Leoncino, which is not bad really. A little bit more expensive than, say, the CF Moto, but you do get that beautiful TFT where the CF Moto doesn't. I think it's overall a more beautiful looking bike than the CF Moto, though the CF Moto does have the beautiful J1 brakes, which if Benelli adopted those brakes, it'd be all over. It's goodbye MT-07, goodbye CF Moto, you'd have a new king in town. Yeah, you can literally not change a thing on the dash while you're moving, which kind of is a bit frustrating, especially when you're used to sort of being able to switch between your odometers and trip meters and stuff like that. You have to physically be able to stop on this bike, which, yeah, that could be annoying. Right, so, yeah, I quite like this bike. It definitely has its shortcomings, but I think it kind of makes up for them in other areas. So it's not the most technologically advanced bike. It doesn't have rider modes, it doesn't have a fly-wire throttle, and the TFT info is pretty basic, but as a package and for the price, I think that the Leoncino 800 is a pretty good deal, especially if you're after sort of an MT-07 but you don't like the look of that, because physically the look of the MT-07 has really gone downhill since that first facelift, where this just looks the goods. Has large diameter forks. Yeah, I think if you put the specs side by side between an MT-07 HO and this, this might be slightly down on power maybe, but it definitely beats the MT-07 hands down in styling. So let's go up here and we'll just have a quick look around it, eh? Because why not? I see cars parked on this grass all the time. It must be sweet to come and just park up here. Alright, cool, the camera's still there. So, nice LED rear light. The LED indicators, like I said, they're quite chunky. But, hey, chunky means they're going to be visible. Like, look how beautiful and bright those are. You're going to be pretty bloody blind to not see those lights illuminating. Switchgear, like I said, everything just falls to hand and it's where it should be. And you've got nice feedback. You know when you push the button that it's going to work. Which, yeah, a lot of bikes these days, you have all these buttons and you have no idea if you've actually activated the buttons half the time you push them. So, nice enough space for a pillion, if you must. Beautiful sounding exhaust, and quite a lovely engine. Now, personally, if I was going to buy one of these, I would be going for the trail, but for a round town bike or just a fun weekend bike, this is a bloody good option. Nice headlight. Let's chuck her on high beam, eh? So that's the high beam there. So, yeah, oh, and of course, can't forget the little lion cub. Leoncino's got to have the Benelli lion mascot. So, yeah. Leoncino 800. Makes all the right noises, does all the right things, but it leaves a little bit of improvement room, which I'm sure Benelli will manage. For the money, she is not bad at all. Especially as sort of thinking of this as a first full power bike. Not all of us, particularly with interest rates these days, have huge amounts of money to blow on our first big bike after we get out of the LAMS restrictions. But this is not a bad option if you're looking for a stylish bike. It's got that Italian heritage, but yeah, it is made where it's made. But yeah, 13.5 grand. Yeah, bit hard to say much more about it. Rightio, well, I'm slowly meandering my way back home, so I think we will leave this first impressions-ish video there, and yeah, we will come back with a bit more in detail with actual facts and figures and all the useful stuff that you want to know when you're trying to make a decision on a bike. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you've gotten this far, please subscribe if you feel like you would like to see more content. And I'll catch you in the next video.